time for another round of cosplay secrets. I think we're literally on part 3 already. Guess I just love spilling tea on myself. Not literal tea, just tea as in secrets. Because spilling actual tea on yourself doesn't sound fun. Anyway, cosplay secrets part 3. Let's go. So we're gonna start things off nice and easy with this one. And we're gonna talk about my Latex Riddler cosplay. Now I hear you say candy. I don't see the problem with this. There's literally no issues with this cosplay at all. And this is where you'd be very, very wrong. Technically, a lot of this cosplay doesn't even exist. Now you're interested, right? To be fair, half of it is a huge exaggeration, but the cosplay that you are seeing here is broken. Yep, I managed to have a complete wardrobe malfunction and tore the latex on this outfit. Yes, I know, I ripped the latex and I'm not proud, and it was a very long day, but I was super stressed and panicked because I was borrowing this cosplay from Catalyst Latex to shoot and create some awesome images with, and I managed to rip it. You absolute meltdown. Not only because this latex was on loan to me, but because I was like, what are we gonna shoot? This was for my calendar. So I was like, now I'm one look down for my calendar. I've ripped something that's only on loan to me. I'm an awful, awful person. And Justine was like, don't sweat it. I'll just Photoshop it. Just hold it together in a way with your arm so it looks like the cup is together, and I'll just Photoshop the rest. You Photoshop being the saving grace for this look. And it's also why there's not very many photos of my Latex Riddler either, because there's literally only so many poses you can do whilst also trying to clamp a latex tear on your cup with your arm. So yeah, the latex cup on one side wasn't even attached to the leotard. A wing, a prayer, and Photoshop saved the day here. I'd also like to add that Catalyst obviously wasn't mad at me. Like, these things happen from time to time and it was all cool. So all of my anxiety was for nothing, but it is what it is. Next up on my cosplay tea spilling is Vegeta. Now, this one is a little bit different because it's not so much about the cosplay. Some of you OG followers might know exactly what this story is. Now, let's just take another look at this cosplay here. You can see it's a leotard, tights, you know, quite well covered to a certain degree. We all know I love a leotard cosplay here anyway. Like, this is very standard candy cosplay. And it's also the standard of cosplay type that I usually wear to conventions. Some of you may know where this is going. Some of you may not. Some of you may just be sitting there saying, Candy, spill the damn tea already. Or this Vegeta cosplay to a Hyper Japan many, many moons ago now. And I'm literally talking years ago now. The convention and its staff have probably changed hands quite a lot since the last time I attended a Hyper Japan. And like I said, wearing this type of cosplay to a convention, like MCM or anywhere else like that, isn't unusual. Actually, sometimes it's quite a lot of clothes. Whenever I go to a convention, I also tend to opt to wear really thick dance tights. These are flesh colored and just blend in, and they look like you're not wearing tights until you get really close up. This is just my personal preference, but it does mean that I am wearing a lot of layers. Even if it looks like to some people, I am not. So now picture this. Long sleeve Vegeta leotard, super thick nude flesh coloured dance tights, boots, armour. So it looks like a lot of skins on show, but really I'm wearing a lot of stuff. And I get through security at Hyper Japan, go through all their checkpoints, get inside, and the first thing I am greeted by is allegedly a member of Hyper Japan staff. Now, I don't know if this lady actually worked for Hyper Japan or if she was someone that just had a huge issue with me. But let me tell you, she was not very happy about my Vegeta cosplay. This alleged Hyper Japan member of staff told me that I would be removed from the convention. Yep, removed from the convention because of my Vegeta cosplay. According to this alleged member of staff, I was breaking the indecent exposure rules. And if I didn't cover up, I was going to be escorted from the convention. Now, I laugh about it now, but at the time, let me tell you, I was fuming because I had gone through quite a few different security checkpoints and no one had said anything about the outfit I was wearing. Actually, I even got a few compliments on it from staff members. But as soon as I got inside, this alleged staff member made a beeline for me and told me I was going to be removed if I didn't cover up my derriere. And if you know me outside of YouTube, you'll probably know that is quite popular. And I'd like to say I'm using the term alleged staff member because I'm not even sure if she worked there. She could have just been someone that was being super mean and super rude to me because she didn't like what I was wearing. And although she told me I was going to be removed for indecent exposure because of my outfit, I would like to stress that there was so many more skimpier outfits and I was wearing so much more in comparison to half the people there. I just remember looking at her and saying, "You're kidding, right? This is a joke." And she was not joking. She was literally like, "You need to cover up, get changed now, or I will get you removed." And I was like, cool. Cool, okay, well, I'm not getting changed because I've just spent a lot of money and time making this outfit just for this convention because that's the only reason I made Vegeta. Because a big group of my cosplay friends were all doing Dragon Ball Z cosplays and I wanted to be included. So I was just like, okay, well, I'll sort it out. So I went and found Kenny Cosplay, who was a guest at the time there. And I remember just going to Kenny and saying, "Please just make me a butt flap to cover my outrageous assets, because if we don't cover the peachy goods, I'm getting kicked out." And let me tell you, I walked around this convention with a EVA foam panel duct taped to my Vegeta belt because I was not going home. I was not going to be kicked out for indecent exposure. The fact that I was wearing a leotard caused this much aggro. The fact that there was also hentai at kids' eye levels and me being in a leotard was like the end of the world. Call the police. This woman's in a leotard. Horror is actually tragic. But here you are, Candy the troublemaker. I bet you didn't have me pegged as one of those. Now during this con, I actually checked their TOS as well because obviously I was livid. And there was no such things in regards to what I was wearing. They didn't classify it as indecent exposure. They didn't say you couldn't wear anything like this. Especially if you know anime. Like a lot of animes are skimpy. So I really just feel like this woman had it out for me. And I've never been to a Hyper Japan since. It honestly just put me off so much. And this isn't me hating on them or telling you not to go to one of their events after this point. This is all just my personal experience. But it goes to show how damaging having the wrong people work for you really is. Like I said, this is all alleged. She was allegedly a staff member, but she really put a damper on my day. And also on my thoughts of the convention itself. So yeah, my Vegeta cosplay causes trouble. On to a more forgetful cosplay secret. Can you see anything that is wrong with this Peach cosplay? Like anything at all? You know, maybe like a key aspect, like gloves, perhaps? Yeah, I've forgotten. It's actually something I used to do a lot when I would shoot with Justine. I would pack so many cosplays to take to shoot with her that I'd end up forgetting at least one thing, if not multiple things. No matter how hard I tried, this was seriously a common occurrence. But we rolled with it anyway, and I just hope the fact that it was latex would cover the missing glove part. And maybe to a certain degree it did, I don't know. No one ever says anything about it when I post the images online. Maybe it's because you don't notice. Maybe it's because you're being nice and you did notice and didn't say. Either way, no gloves were worn in the making of these photos. Now this cosplay is a really, really old cosplay. And when I say old, it was like one of my first cosplays. And it is Bombshell Batwoman. Now, some of you may not even know that this cosplay exists because it's that old. And that's okay, because we're going to revisit it now together. But in a tea spilling way and not like, look at this kind of way. Now, the Bombshell Batwoman cosplay, as you can see, is a baseball themed outfit. And Justine actually knew somewhere that we could go shoot on location at a baseball field, which is really cool, right? There's one problem though, and I'm gonna put up the never before seen image to see if you can tell me what it is. Honestly, type it in the comments below. I'm curious to see if anyone knows what it is before I even share about it. Because hilariously, if you don't, it's gonna make this very, very awkward. Now we get up super early to go and shoot this so that there's no one on the field. And we're shooting and it's great, and then we realise something. Due to the fact that the car park is in the back of the bases, we needed to reverse the shots, meaning that I'm standing on the base incorrectly. Now, because me and Justine know exactly how the internet behaves, we decided to not use the images and instead go back home and shoot them on the backdrop. Mainly because we was both adamant that we would have been told that I was stood on the base wrong. And like, CBA with that, especially when I put all this time and money into a cosplay. I didn't want all the comments to be centered around the fact that I'd stood on a base wrong. So that's why these photos from this shoot have never been seen, because the internet. But I mean, the studio photos ended up being really nice anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But you know, there's photos that you haven't seen for reasons, mainly because I can't be bothered to deal with the comments. Sometimes you can just preempt exactly what will happen and how the internet will respond to things, and it's nicer to just not. And there we have it for my cosplay secrets part 3. But what do you think about my tea spilling? What was your favourite story? And why is it the fact that Vegeta got me in trouble? I'm not a bad person, I swear. I can't help it that my butt sometimes offends people. It is what it is. But if my butt doesn't offend you, then may I suggest checking out my other socials? But yeah. Criminal candy. Let me know if you want me to make another video like this, because trust me, I've been doing this long enough that I have stories for days. Well, maybe not days, but I feel like a decent amount of time has passed between a lot of them that I can just look back and laugh now, rather than at the time, in the moment, them feeling so raw and so annoying. So why not share all the fun stories now? Till the next one, I guess.